All right, next week, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic goes down at Madison Square Garden, UFC 309, in one of the most highly anticipated matchups of all time. Simple as that. And I'm telling you right now, everyone's overlooking Stipe Miocic, and these people are absolutely out of their minds.
Oh, you crazy.
I am.
What am I talking about? Well, right now, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the UFC's official betting partner, Jon Jones is a minus 600 favorite. Stipe Miocic is a plus 440 underdog. I am telling you right now, after you hear what I'm going to say, you might want to go out there and put a few dollars on Stipe, because this guy's a massive underdog. He is being overlooked, disrespected, completely forgotten about in the heavyweight division. And this man has the opportunity to go out there and shock the entire world, beat Jon Jones, and become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. But as I said, people are underestimating Stipe Miocic. And why is that? Well, of course, it's because the last time that we saw Stipe Miocic was UFC 260, March 2021, at the UFC's Apex, when he went up against Francis Ngannou. And we all know how that ended, okay? It was a brutal punch, a vicious knockout, and everyone can see it right now. That image of Stipe Miocic led back, his legs bent in all kinds of weird shapes, okay? Just a brutal knockout, absolutely unconscious. And that's what people remember. This sport is about, what have you done for me lately? And people forget everything that Stipe did. People forget that Stipe, on paper, as you know, you've heard it a million times, is the greatest heavyweight to ever fight in the UFC's octagon. Okay, he defended the belt 3 times, which is something that nobody else has ever done. Now, yes, that was over 3.5 years ago. That is what people remember. But let me tell you right now, 3.5 years, that's the perfect recipe for Stipe to make the comeback. Because I'm telling you right now, when you suffer a vicious knockout like that, I've been there, UFC 100 against Dan Henderson, a vicious knockout. The next time you fight, it's still there. You still remember it. You've still got PTSD, the skeletons in the closet, whatever you want to call it, and you might be a little bit gun shy, and it can also affect your ability to take a shot. Well, Stipe's had 3.5 years. This man's been saving cats out of trees, putting out fires left, right, and center, and just living his life. So he has recovered from that knockout. There will be no emotional trauma going into this fight, and there'll be no physical damage either. That was a very, very long time ago. But on the flip side, when you look at Stipe, he's going to come into this one fresh, hungry, excited, can't wait to get back in there. Let me tell you, when you walk out to the octagon and it's at a legendary venue like Madison Square Garden, I am telling you, it's one of the best feelings in the world. And Stipe, with the 3.5 years away, he hasn't been doing back-to-back training camps. Neither does Jon Jones. He's been out for a little bit as well. We're going to get to all of that, and I'm going to tell you how Stipe can win this fight and how you might want to make it better and make yourself some money. But let me tell you, Stipe, as I said, hasn't had those training camps back-to-back where you're mentally and physically exhausted. You can't be bothered about it anymore. You've made tons of money. You've defended the belt. You've got millions of dollars in the bank, and you're like, you don't want, I'm 42. Why am I still doing this? No, he's been away for 3.5 years. When he comes back and when he walks out into that octagon, when he hears the roar of the arena and the fans go absolutely wild and the goosebumps on the skin and the hairs on the back of your neck start sticking up, he's gonna be like, ho ho, I have missed this. And let's remember what Stipe Miocic did over the course of his career. Knocked out heavyweight legends like Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, beat Daniel Cormier twice. In the second one, stopped him with a beautiful series of left hook body shots, okay? Knocked out Fabrizio Verdum whilst going backwards with one shot to become the heavyweight champ. He knocked out Mark Hunt, Andrei Arlovski. These are all legendary names in the heavyweight division. And you, watching this right now, have forgotten all about that. You're like, Stipe's got old. He's got old. It's done. He's old. He's been away for 3.5 years. He got knocked out of Ngannou. Well, so what? And remember, this man is 1-on-1 with Francis Ngannou. They are one apiece, and you don't know what the third fight will go down like. He got caught off the guy with one of the hardest punches in all of mixed martial arts history. So there's certainly no shame. And then on top of that, this man feels disrespected. He feels overlooked. He knows the entire world is talking about Jon Jones. Will he or won't he fight Tom Aspinall, the interim champ? Don't tell me that that doesn't piss you off. When you're somebody like Stipe Miocic, a proud man, a very capable man, a former champion, a two-time heavyweight champion of the world, and people are just overlooking you, Jesus Christ. That is a powerful motivator. That gets you out of bed in the morning, going for the runs, doing the rounds, doing the wrestling, pushing yourself to the absolute limit. So I'll tell you right now, forget about these images of Stipe Miocic walking around with the walking cane. We all get injured. I'm recovering from neck surgery right now. I'm in absolutely agonizing pain, and I'll still take out 99.9% of you bastards watching this video. That's a fact, guys. Anyway, back to Stipe. I'm telling you, coming into this one, he's very, very annoyed. I saw an interview of him earlier this week with Damon Martin, legendary interviewer and journalist, been covering this sport for a very, very long time, and he was dismissive. He had a huge chip on his shoulder.
Of course, I'm not going to give any excuses. I'm playing my ass off. I'm here to fight. I'm here to win. I'm going to win.
And coming into this one, not only does he get a chance to right the wrongs, to correct people, to prove people wrong, he gets the chance to become the heavyweight champion of the world, a three-time heavyweight champion of the world, and he also gets the chance to be the first person to legitimately beat Jon Bones Jones, arguably the greatest fighter of all time. And I know a lot of you lot are going to shit the bed when you hear me say that, but yeah, I just said that. Argue with me in the comment section down there, please. But I'm telling you right now, when we look at this fight, and here we go with the strategy and stuff like that, Stipe Miocic has got an incredible chance of pulling this off. We got to remember, Jon Jones is not a natural heavyweight. He took time away from the sport to bulk up, to get bigger, to put muscle on, okay? Stipe's a natural heavyweight. He was born like that. It's as simple as that. He's a big guy, he's a strong guy, and he's got stronger, more natural power. When it comes to the wrestling side of things, Jon Jones isn't just going to have his way. He's not going to be able to just take him down like he did to Cyril Gane. Oh no, he's got a real fight on his hands. He's got somebody his size that can stop takedowns, that can crack, that does have one punch knockout power. And by the way, as good as Jon Jones is, as great as his resume is, there's one thing that he doesn't have, and that's true one-punch knockout power. And that's not a disrespect to Jon Jones. His career has been absolutely legendary. Jones has got a ridiculous amount of other world-class attributes, but that one is lacking. And Stipe Miocic certainly has that in abundance. That's just a fact. And let's remember, Jon Jones is only human. In the last few fights of his light heavyweight reign, he almost arguably lost to Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes. He won those fights on paper, but a lot of people felt a little differently. And we got to remember, Thiago Santos was kind of performing after the first round on one leg. He tore almost every single ligament in his knee. Now that sounds disrespectful to Jon Jones. I'm not being disrespectful, but what I'm saying is the man's only human, okay? And he can be beaten. And the argument is that, well, Jon Jones fights to the level of his competition. That's what a lot of people have said, and that may be true. And maybe he overlooked them, and maybe he didn't train. Like apparently he didn't train for the Alexander Gustafsson fight. He spent a lot of his time partying and just enjoying life, okay? And he still got the job done. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. So, whilst Jon Jones is probably the greatest of all time, there's a good chance that he might lose this fight. So let's get into it. I'm telling you right now, Stipe Miocic is a legitimate threat and people are dismissing him. DraftKings have him as a massive underdog, and this is absolutely insane. So how does he beat him? How does Stipe go out there and do something that nobody else has been able to do? Well, first of all, he can't go out there and have a point-style kickboxing fight. That's just not the way Stipe fights, but that approach is not going to help him. Jon Jones is prettier, he's slicker, he's longer, he's got the spinning elbows, he's got the oblique kicks to the thigh, he's got the teeps, he's got all these weird, wonderful, fancy maneuvers. On the flip side, Stipe's got meat and potatoes. He's got right hands, left hooks, jabs, but they are the basics. They are the fundamentals. They are what every single coach drills into a fighter every single day. You ain't if you don't have the fundamentals. Stipe Miocic, as I say, has those and uses them to tremendous ability. Also, he's got to make it dirty. He's got to go forward. He's got to use that natural size that he has. He's got to put the pace on Jon Jones. We haven't seen Jon Jones go past the first round or go past a few minutes in the heavyweight frame. There's still a lot of questions surrounding Jon Jones. How will he be at rounds 3, 4, and 5, carrying an extra 30, 40 pounds of muscle? How will he be when he's throwing punches and kicks that his arms and legs are so much heavier? How will he be? Will his cardio be able to take it? And I know he's left no stone unturned in training camp, and that's what we all say. But has he really pushed himself? Can he even do that? Go 5 rounds at the same pace that he could when he fought at light heavyweight? The honest answer to that is probably not. It's just physics. You put on that amount of bulk and size of muscle and a little bit of fat, you're gonna slow down and you're gonna get tired quicker. Stipe, that is his natural weight. So he's gonna go forward, he's gonna make it dirty, he's gonna get in his face, he's gonna push the pace, he's gonna back Jon Jones up, he's gonna take the fight to Jon Jones, back him up, make him panic, crack him with the right hand, let him feel your power. You let him know there's real consequences standing here and exchanging with me. You're in here with a real heavyweight that you can't take down. And the reason I say that is look at Stipe versus Daniel Cormier. In those fights that they had, the wrestling exchanges were pretty even. In the second fight, they both went 1 and 3 in their takedown attempts. DC had 3 minutes of control time and Stipe had 90 seconds of control time. We just can't assume that Jon Jones is going to go out there and just destroy him in the wrestling department, because I don't believe that will happen. Yeah, we saw Jon Jones training with a very highly touted wrestler recently, and he looked sharp and he looked great, and he jumped in the air and he did a flying knee and connected in the face.
Oh, sorry. You good?
But this is mixed martial arts, and they're two very, very different sports. So Jon can't assume that he'll out-wrestle him. I don't think Jon has the one-punch knockout power. He's probably going to be forced to stand. And yeah, look, listen, we're going to say that Jon Jones is probably quicker, but we don't know that for a fact. As I said, we haven't seen him really pushed at heavyweight. Ciryl Gane, great fighter, but the reality was there was a quick and an easy win. As I said, we haven't seen him go to the championship rounds in the heavyweight frame, but we have seen that from Stipe Miocic. We've seen Stipe go 5 rounds against many people. One of them was Francis Ngannou in the first fight, and he won that fight. Now, yes, Jon Jones is younger, he's sharper, he's craftier, but let's talk about this as well. For the longest time, Jon Jones has one of the longest reaches in UFC history. He's 6'4" with an 84-inch reach. Stipe is also 6'4" with an 80-inch reach. So yes, Jones has the reach advantage. But remember, when you're talking reach, you're talking wingspan, tip to tip, okay?
We're gonna be dick to dick, nipple to nipple in that fucking range.
I got a pretty long one myself, 75.5 inches. Jon Jones is 84 to Stipe's 80, okay? But remember, that's tip to tip. So when your arms are in front of you, the reach advantage is halved. So Jon Jones has a 2-inch reach advantage with each arm. That's nothing we haven't seen before. That's not crazy. That's not something that just blows people away. Oh my God. And he overcame a 2-inch reach advantage. It ain't shit. It doesn't matter. So that's another one of Jon's big weapons taken away. And yes, Jon Jones has got the fancy spins. He does have the oblique kicks, and he has a tremendous fight IQ, and he always comes with an incredible game plan. And that's what you got to respect about Jon Jones. And it isn't going to be an easy fight. And I'm not saying that Stipe wins this. I'm just saying you cannot take anything for granted. Certainly when it's Jon that hasn't really been tested at heavyweight, and certainly when it's Stipe who is pissed off, he feels overlooked, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's got a point to prove. So I'm telling you right now, yes, Jon Jones is the favorite, and I understand why. But don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if Stipe Miocic is the UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world when all the dust settles at Madison Square Garden.
I'm not surprised,
And then what happens? Maybe we see Stipe versus Tom Aspinall. Maybe Stipe goes and retires. Maybe Stipe goes and fights Alex Pereira.
Shama.
And everyone's pet's head falls off.
Our pets' heads are falling off!
We don't know what happens, and we don't know what's going to happen in the fight. What I do know for sure, though, absolutely guaranteed, this is going to be a spectacular fight. Both men are going to show up. I'm going to be there in person. I simply cannot wait. And I know you can't either. Let me know what you think about what I just said in the comment section, please. Subscribe, ring the bell. I'm going to go to bed.